We're up. No fancy music, but you've got three of the best looking guys out there, so watch out. So we got Michael, Ben, and also Grant. So welcome to getting the best out of LightYear in 2025. Take it away, Ben.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I just want to make sure you can hear us okay. This is going to be a quite a rare occasion where we're actually going to do a deep dive into the platform today, because we actually do have four parts to it, which are legal back office, the LYD platform with over 200 plus documents, LightYear Training Group. We're actually going to talk about the courses and how to get team buy-in and what are the outcomes of a couple of our firms have got from doing some of the advanced estate planning courses, for example, or talking about asset protection with their clients. And we're going to talk about how you can partner with LY Legal moving forward. But we have a lot in today's session, so it will go quite quick. But Michael, would you like to add anything to that at all, Matt?
No, just other. I love this time of year. It's for accountants, and I obviously or have an ownership interest in an accounting firm. It's almost like Christmas time. We're running into 30 June. So excited. We've got trust distribution resolutions. We've got tax planning. We're doing so many great things for our clients. And it's also a big win-win in relation to our revenue and bank accounts. So couldn't think of anything better. And obviously, you and I have both got big birthdays coming up in June as well, Ben. You
I
on the
know, 40
40th.
and 50. Whoa, whoa,
Yeah,
whoa.
I'd be more than happy to swap with Ben the age, but we're going to have some in June. We're going to, we're talking about end of financial year offers. There's going to be even some other ones coming out as well in relation to our 40th birthday for Ben and 50th for me. So let's celebrate the lead into June, and this is a great webinar to kick it off.
Yeah, and as Mick just said there, it's just what a great opportunity, and that's a great way to kick it off today. And I was just speaking to the directors, and I've said this on stage a lot at LYD 25 and LYD 24. We've got this iPhone that we're utilizing 5% of it. And it's the same thing with all of your app stacks. So today is actually going to be a deep dive into the session. It will be recorded. So if your team members aren't on today's session, make sure you do share it around, because we look at most firms on their usage at the moment, and it's actually 30% are doing amazing things, but then the other 70% comes down to education. So, I'll give you an example, Grant, this one annoys you the most. People are still doing standard companies when they've got the family protection trustee company. So, why would you choose that one over a top document?
I know. Well, it's funny actually. Even just wheeling it back from that is if you're doing a standard company without successor directors, now that it's known in the marketplace, and many of our competitors are stealing that strategy from us, there's no excuse to not have a successor director solution in there. One is it sort of make sure that it's in line with ASIC requirements that were issued in 2007, believe it or not. But more importantly, that you've got a good line of succession there for the company. And as accountants, you basically need to make sure that's the case because the last thing you want to do is be frittering around if one of your sole director clients dies. And every one of you, I would say, would this be right, Mick, that 80% of all companies generally have sole directors?
Correct. Yeah, probably
Yeah.
it's probably about right. Yep.
Yeah. Have you gone out to all your naked accounting clients and mainly all they've got a good line of succession these days? I know you guys are pretty forthright with it.
We have, and it'll be one thing that I'm touching on the accountability advisory sessions that are rolling out to our Pinnacle package members, Grant, and around how to actually get that out and deliver services such as that to your clients in the most effective way, and showing them tools and stuff to assist in relation to that.
Yeah, it was such an easy add-on. I mean, all you have to do is just to tick a couple of boxes in our company form. Now, our
Mm.
companies might not be the simplest way to go through, and you know why that is? Because it's got strategies in it. I mean, if you want just basic companies, you can just jump on ASIC and in fact a lot of your clients do. The reason it takes a while to go through our system is because you've got strategies there, and every strategy is there is as Ben said, you can actually you can charge a client extra for it. So typically with a successor director solution on top of your normal standard company, which is dangerous. Now, what do you charge there, Mick?
For a standard company,
Yeah.
oh, we're about 3,500.
Okay. And then if
Yeah.
you had successor director?
No, including standard. We won't set it up without a successor director. So
Okay.
that's the whole package. So
Okay,
yeah.
that's fantastic. And just on that one with Naked Accounting, we picked up a client through Legal Back Office or LY Legal
Mm.
just recently. It was a client who had just come out from overseas and expat moving back to Australia, hasn't found a job as yet in the sales
Yeah.
and marketing area of a very large pharmaceutical. Quite a significant redundancy package, and through myself and also Byron at Naked Accounting, one of the ones there is this client had been looked after by EY for such a long time, but EY had no idea how to reduce their tax. So what we're going to be doing, just to give you an idea, so they've got a large redundancy payment this year. Redundancy, there's a certain tax-free amount, then there's a certain low rate amount where they're taxed at 32% and then 45% above that. So they're up for quite a bit of tax. In fact, they've prepaid PAYG of around about $110,000. But what we're going to do is because they're not working, we don't want to slam it all in this year. We're going to make deductible contributions. But what we'll do is we've got, and this is one of the top strategies again for 30 June. When you make deductible contributions, I did a session on this last night, and Ben will take you through. Is you've got your obviously your cap of $30,000 this year, and you've got another $30,000 next year as well. But there is no limit on the amount of deductions that you can claim. So we can claim $100,000, we can claim 150 or 200. So for our clients, and again, this only works with a self-managed superannuation fund. We're very lucky this client had already set one up, and one of the reasons I moved him over to Naked was that essentially we'd put in place a family protection trust. He wanted to make sure that everything was protected. And really, one of the only other accountants, and many of the same with you, like Sir Pepper advisors, know how to account for these things. Again, another failure of a big four accounting firm, EY. But anyway, if we have a look at it, we've got $30,000 cap, and let's say we're doing $150,000. What we're looking at is worst case scenario is actually dragging his 45% down from the redundancy payment and then using a contribution suspense account. So the amount that's excess, we don't have it this year. We actually shifted into a contribution suspense account, which is available on the LYD platform. And that then shifts that income liability into the next financial year. So again, it's a great way of shifting money from one year to another. And that's going to have quite a significant impact for him. So he may, because remember, he was going to be taxed at 45% now. His tax rate may, if it's 100,000, it might drop down to an average rate around about 22 or 23%. So that means he's going to end up with one. He's not going to have to pay that for a while, but he's also going to end up with a refund. And there's nothing better that when you're dealing a strategy with a client to get them a refund because that makes a big difference. So a couple of things leading into 30 June, obviously superannuation. Your 5-year catch up, many of you are probably well and truly on top of that with the $500,000. So use that catch up. You can use it from a capital gains perspective. You can use it whatever. One of the big areas that I love because my early days it was either super from the employer or super from the individual. You couldn't actually claim from both, but now you can claim both at an individual level and also at an employer level. So look at salary sacrificing. And again, as I said, don't be fearful of going over in excess. So if you do go over excess, there's a couple of things there, particularly if a client's got an SMSF already established there. When you go over in excess, so let's say again we put in $50,000 of deductible contributions this year. We know $30,000 is our cap. That $20,000 that goes over, we can either have it this year or we can actually prepay contributions for next year and claim the deduction this year again. Your clients are going to love you if you get a tax, if you're getting a tax refund this year. So it's a very, very simple one for salary and wage earners. I've also got a really high income one where we explore the possibilities and clients end up about 4 or 5% better off, but they don't have to pay tax for potentially 2 years down the track. So they've got a good inflation adjusted deferred tax benefit there as well, plus a 3 or 4% tax benefit and no penalties by switching it over, going well and truly above. And so this is for a client who is salary sacrificing a large bonus of $250,000. So if you'd like that, just contact one of our team at Legal Back Office. I think Divya, I know you're online if you want to put your deets in there, and then we can take it from there. And of course, when we come round to the 1st of July, we might as well talk about that. That's when you need to really get your investment strategies in place. One of the most exciting things that I'm seeing at the moment is that my generation, the baby boomers, who are really at the forefront of setting up self-managed super funds, starting way back in 1994, they're all done and dusted, and many of them have grown quite significantly. Believe it or not, is over 70% of all self-managed super fund worth, so that works out around about $700 billion is sitting in the accounts of people over age 65. Many of those, in fact, a large percentage of them are sole member funds. I haven't got time to go into it, but if you've got a sole member fund, you're in. It's a disaster waiting to happen. In terms of the unrealised gain issue, obviously that's on the table with the government coming back in. So they've got they'll just be telling everyone they've got a mandate to do it. The Greens have obviously done a huge belly flop, which is fantastic. And so from that perspective, we're probably not going to get a $2 million threshold. It'll be a $3 million threshold. But I've got about 3 or 4 different strategies for that. So watch out for that coming down in the early new year once we find out when the start date. The start date was supposed to be the 1st of July 2025. Not sure that's going to happen because I think it'd be too much to be concertinaed in. I would say I'd expect the start date to be the 1st of July 2026. But we're ready for it. I've got 4 different strategies on that particular premise. So we'll roll that out probably around about July or August, thereabouts. But they're just some of my few top ideas. Again, contribution suspense account, absolute no-brainer. Successor director that Mick was saying, you might as well, it's good money coming in the door. And look at maxing out your contributions and slipping them into the next year as well to get the client a tax refund because it's very hard to get them these days.
And just going on to what Grant was saying before, we started the Pinnacle package firm. So they've started the education. The first meeting starts this month, but firms are already getting Grant to do the webinars for their clients. Grant, how many clients were on this for one of our
Last night,
firms?
yeah, last night. These guys are doing really well. So this is Freedom Financial Services. They've got, believe it or not, 1,000 SMSFs and have really taken off. I do a webinar for them every month. This one last night, they had 95 people. And the good thing about this is, because again, it's just the same as I'm talking to you. And as Mick said, this is the best time of the year for tax strategies. I wanted to do it at this time because now it gives them 6 or 7 weeks to really make sure those tax strategies are in place and they'll make easily $200,000-300,000 in revenue from it.
Yeah. And this is where we're getting a lot of our members to start to think outside the box because we've got 200 ways for you to make money from the platform. And how I came up with that number is every document is a possible revenue stream for you to help your clients at this time of year. So if you're only utilizing 5 to 10 types of documents, that's where you've got to get a part of the LightYear training group to start understanding what documents you're missing out on. Or on the other side, flick it over to the fence to the legal back office team to take care of it for your clients. But make sure you go through the full list of documents. If you want me to email a one-pager for you so you can see the list, but you can see how you can start pricing them up and adding that as a new service to your clients. So you can do things like NDAs, shareholder agreements, HR documents, security deeds. There's a lot of documents in there that a lot of firms are not utilizing and getting the best out of the platform. Also, we're seeing a lot of firms still utilizing their trust distribution templates. At least the difference with ours, Grant, what do you get in ours?
Oh, look, first off, if I can just say something, this should be your absolute last year of ever using a standard discretionary trust. And to be brutally honest, that would include a LightYear Docs one. I love it to death, but given the absolute problems that we see in Oe's case, and I've seen Tim talk about a change GPS, that it's a requirement now for you to go and find out for each and every named beneficiary of a discretionary trust their family financial circumstances, and then make distributions according to that. Failure to do that can see the trustee effectively being removed, and distributions being awarded by the courts. And it's something that an accountant doesn't want. The benefit of our family protection trust, which what Bennett was talking about before, is that we don't have named beneficiaries. Our principal beneficiary, which you probably would call in your standard discretionary trust, is not named. It actually turns the family protection appointor. So we spent a lot of time, a lot of research looking at that position, and in those positions going down. And with the family protection trust, again, we've got the benefit that we have a family trust election, but we stick to bloodlines. So there's no spouses, there's no relatives or anything being caught up in that who can make a potential claim against that trust. So again, our distributions, I've already done mine for this year, and I'm sure Mick has as well. It's very easy to do on the system very quickly, but just over and above, this should be your last year for doing a discretionary trust. The best thing to do is if you want to come over to LY Legal or Legal Back Office, and we'll do the discretionary trust deed upgrades for you without any resettlement. So without any resettlement, it's a good way to do it. Where we find some of our competitors, such as ACES, might be charging $1,100 for that. We're going to have a special price there, a bulk price for you, particularly if you're strategist users. So next year, that should be one of your larger focuses. And again, it's not only are you going to get a really good, strong compliance platform, you're going to get out of that potential disaster that Oe's case is. And then more importantly, we're going to be in a position that you're going to make some good revenue out of it, but we're going to do the work for you.
Yeah. And also, just so everyone knows, like best practice and strategists, we can assign you a legal back office account manager. If you are not utilizing that, please reach out to the support chat, or underneath the support chat, you've got your legal organization chat if you're a strategist. But reach out to them so we can appoint an account manager to you, and they can give you the list of services. So you know when a client comes in, you can throw it over the fence, and there is some revenue share on certain strategies as well. Do you want to add anything to that, Mick?
No, I mean, the big thing is, as you said, access is for all levels of membership. The big difference between obviously being a member firm versus a light user, a PAYG user, is the pricing on those legal services is loaded for our PAYG users compared to our subscription. So subscription for me is a no-brainer.
Yeah. And guys, I'm pleased to announce we have a venue.
Hey.
Hometown of the Gold Coast. So I'm 50 Army rolls from the JW Marriott. Don't ask me how I know exactly how many Army rolls it is to get home. But it is JW Marriott the 4th and 5th of February 2026. So make sure you book your tickets. Geraldine will put in end of year offers for 50% off. There will be 400 people live. This will go extremely quick. Me and Mick spent some time in Vegas at the world's largest entrepreneur sales events, where there was 10,000 live and 200,000 online. So they did not give you an agenda. We didn't know who was speaking. At one moment, Ryan Reynolds and then Martha Stewart. So we're going to hide the 5 keynote speakers and slowly release that. But we're giving you plenty of notice. But also on the last night, we're going to be presenting the results of the Pinnacle firms throughout the events, because a lot of the events that we've done in the past is all around strategies. Now it's showing you what your peers are doing. So you can see how they marketed, how they priced. We've got one other firm that Grant, he's done 300,000 in the pipeline of LBO work in 2 months. So he's actually picking up the phone and speaking to his clients. Listen, we need to start talking about family wealth protection. I've got a solution. Join us at the next webinar. So we've got a team of experts to help you with marketing, with strategies, and then also how to grow different parts of your business. As you can probably see as well, Mick, what we're seeing with AI, it's the firms that are offering completely different services, but I'm sure your clients will not leave you if you're protecting their family wealth over an AI bot. That's the big game changer. Okay, so make sure, Gigi, can you put it in the chat for us? But we're going to do a deep dive into the platform, but I just wanted to share our end of year offers for you. 50% off for LYD 26. We'll go through the growth packages. You'll see this price will be a no-brainer when you see it. If you want to join group 2, we're only giving away 5 at the pinnacle price is 7,995. This includes the Pepper courses, Grant Abbott doing a webinar for your clients, 10 courses, but we'll go through it shortly live. And also, if you're a non-member, we're giving away 30 days of strategist documents. So you can jump onto the platform, test it out, see if it's for your business. But I also want to flip this over to our members that are on here today. If you refer the 30 days free strategist to a firm that's in your CPA or CA group and they join, I'll give you a free LYD 26 ticket. Okay, so guys, that's going to be a part of our new referral program. We like to get like-minded firms on board to our platform. But Grant, make sure we'll go through the platform now. But if you want to email ben@lyd.com.au, I can go through any of these end of year offers for you. But Grant, let's do a deep dive into the platform. Do you want to?
I think, believe it or not, let me just share my screen. So if I go and have a look, do you know how many years have we been going, Nick?
Touching on 7 years.
Yeah, I know it's been going such a long time. I had a look at my history. So this is what you guys are going to see. So notice when you're at the front, you've got unlimited legal support. So again, if I want to ask a question, we've got our team at LBO and LBO Legal who are looking there for you. So here we've got a document wizard which you're going to have a look. Events and webinars. So have a look at that. That's what Ben was talking about. We've got Craig coming up, LYD 26. If you're actually after a little bit more, so we go around the packages, the site's looking good. CPD training, you're going to get straight into LY training group. So we've got a lot.
Grant, can we just discuss? So I get this a lot.
Yep.
So our top firms by far that win the awards every single year have done the SEPEPA course.
Absolutely.
So to give you an example, guys, it's $3,000 to do the SEPEPA course. So we've got a couple of options coming up where you can join us in Fiji and you can do it live and become a SEPEPA member, which is a non-for-profit organization.
And I think that's a no-brainer. Who doesn't want to come to Fiji and drink
Except you guys will be
cocktails?
hanging around by the pool while I'm in there teaching people for the SEPEPA
I won't be. I'll be in the
golf course.
No. We had Grant, it just reminds me, it's because they got Kava in Fiji. We had a conference in Vanuatu one year, and remember all the accountants decided to take Kava, and then they couldn't walk for 2 days.
I know.
So I highly don't recommend doing that on the islands, guys. But it was very interesting. But Grant, can you give us just a quick overview? What do you get out of the SEPEPA accreditation course?
Yeah, so you can actually jump on now there if you like. So if you want to come in person, so as Mick said, if you haven't done the course before, it's going to be perfect in Fiji. So set aside a whole week, 2.5 days with me. We're going to go through my top 45 strategies when it comes around to family wealth protection. So it's all based on this book. So Family Wealth Protection in Australia. So that's out now. It's been sold out, and we're going into a second edition at this present point in time. So what we do is we'll go through the 40 strategies. The good thing about that is at the end, we go through and do a quiz. I'm there along with you. And once you do that, you then become an accredited advisor. Now, the best thing about that is you'll be able to go off and have your carver or your cocktail and in the sand there. Next day, we've got a golf day. So, mix organised where we're staying right across the road. It's even less than 50 commando rolls across the road is a beautiful the Denaroo Golf Club. So we've got I think we're going to have again another CEO championship there, and then we've got 2 days with Sepepa, which is going to be hardcore case studies. So if we have a look at our conference, our Sepepa conference, it's really for people who want to learn how to go into really deep dive strategies for clients. So if you're there learning about the strategies, and then we can actually start to apply. You're going to get yourself well and truly up and above. One of the advisors that Mick was saying he loves this time of the year from now, once you've got all your returns in, until 30 June to actually do strategies. Two advisors, and I actually speaking to one yesterday, they said this is their time from now until 30 June to do family wealth protection work, and that's essentially SEPEPA work. So they're finding the clients, and the key about that and the big change over the last few years has been the introduction of Legal Back Office, which is a separate company under the LightYear Group banner. The key area there is essentially you find the clients. And there's a lot there, and that's what these accountants are doing. They're now starting to talk to clients around family wealth protection. They then bring them along to a meeting with myself and one of my LBO managers. And again, if we go back to what Ben was saying, you've each been assigned with an LBO manager. I strongly suggest you might want to jump online and talk to them about the ins and outs of LBO. What will happen is then we have a meeting with the client. There's no cost at that stage. After that, we produce a strategy paper for them. So everything is educational up to that stage. If they want to go ahead, then we take a 50% fee up front. That comes to legal back office. And then we then produce all the documents. And then we have our drafts meeting, like any legal firm, and we go through all the drafts. And then we have our team from LY Legal who sit in on that. So that takes the legal responsibility away from you. So you're not doing any legal professional services. You're giving the clients to us, and LBO the same. So essentially, LY Legal takes it over. Once all the drafts are finalised, then we'll invoice the client for the final release of the documents for the remaining 50%. And then essentially what will happen then is you'll be able to invoice us for an appropriate fee, depending on what level you are at in LBO. But again, your actual work in the whole process is around about maybe 10%. The area where you're doing it now, which is our smarter family wealth protection advisors doing, is between now and 30 June when they've got some downtime. They're actually out there talking about family wealth protection and booking up those meetings, which is crucial. We're building our LBO team. We've already got 12 back office people there, but we're getting some front of house team. So we've got Jade Senior who's come on board. Her specialisation is particularly around doctors, medical professionals, divorcees, widowers, and female entrepreneurs. And we're looking at boosting that as well with a couple of big announcements, which hopefully will come down the track. So that's what you get out of the SEPEPA. Another big one from SEPEPA. So SEPEPA is an umbrella for Succession Asset Protection Estate Planning Association. So you would have seen before when we talked about the webinar side of the equation there. We've got
Grant, just go back, mate. So we'll just
yep.
go back just quickly onto that. I'll just jump onto the growth packages up on the right-hand corner up the top. Also, guys, we built the LightYear Training group because we wanted to create a Netflix for accountants. So you've got Companies and Trust 101, SMSFs 101, Asset Protection 101. That's a good, just a starting point for your team members to start talking the language that Grant's talking. Instead of just setting up a trust, it's a family protection trust. So it's a completely different process when you're speaking with your clients. But Grant, if you could just scroll down for me quickly. What we decided to do is bundle up all of the services for you, just up a little bit more. So you can see the offer before is that pinnacle package for 7,995. That's around $40,000 worth of value for the 2,995 price. So it should be an absolute no-brainer for people that want to get into this space, get us to do the webinars for you. You get mentorship from Michael Jeffriess and accountability every single month. So we'll be going through the numbers. So how many SMSFs have you got? How many trusts have you got? Have they all been reviewed and updated? So you can see the results of your group for the next month. And we're going to be working closely with them over 12 months. But you can already see we haven't really even started our first session, but we've had, Grant, how many webinars have you done for them? You've done about 12 webinars?
Yeah, probably
webinars?
at least about 5 to 10. So there's a lot
They're
there.
not even in the same planet of our other members of revenue.
No.
And these are, I'm talking about small firms doubling their revenue with these services because they've got great clients, but they've never been serviced in these areas. I just spoke to a firm before. It had 180 SMSFs, but doesn't do anything with them. Never updated the deeds. He's got about 50 lost deeds. So the first thing he'd be doing when he jumps on the platform with his legal back office manager is let's fix all the lost deeds. That's a priority. Get them updated. But what's the offer before June 30? He had one company that was, I think he said one of the constitutions was 35 years old. Client didn't know where it was. Why don't you just replace it with a successor director? And also a trust without a leading member. So he's going to package up all three for that client for $2,500 versus going to a local lawyer. How much would that be, Grant?
Oh yeah, it's just one is that if you did the family protection trust, they don't even know what you're talking about. So plus I'd probably upgrade the SMSF deed as well because I've just put in a whole brand new set of strategies for the $3 million unrealized gains. So again, and also an SMSF living will. So package it all up and offer it to your clients.
Yeah. So that's what we talk about in our business is what can we help our members get educated, get the best out of it, like a session like today. This is what you should be doing with your clients. I know we've looked at tax planning, but these are the benefits of updating a trust. So you're not giving legal advice. It's time to review it, not update it, and get an expert in there to talk about the strategies for you. And price it up for you. But guys, it should be a no-brainer for a lot of
It should be
firms.
$7,995 a month. I mean, if you're offering it for $2,995, it's just crazy. So no one's making any money, Mick.
Just to give you a bit better color in relation to those accountability and advisory sessions, we've just sent out the data capture packs for the initial groups in relation to that, and Ben was touching a little bit on the metrics, but it's the value in them is really the collaboration of the group. We've had a lot of questions asking me in terms of pricing. I'll certainly be sharing the pricing and the way we do things. I'll equally be learning off everyone that's part of the group. So we'll also be working in relation to the strategies of delivering those to clients, and we'll be helping each other on a month-to-month basis. And the benefit out of it, as Ben said, is holding each other accountable in relation to results. We'll also be bringing some specialist speakers to the table in relation to delivering what we're talking about, and they're definitely worth. Grant, as Grant said, it's effectively a coaching and mentoring package for 12 months. Certainly, you'd be paying upwards of $5,000 to $7,000 a month normally, but we want to work as a community to all get better together.
Yeah, if you don't make your money back on Grant's one webinar, there's something seriously wrong. But the great thing is we record these sessions. So this will get emailed out to everyone that's not on today's session. So we will set it all up for you. You brand it the way you brand it, but now you utilize that for all new clients. Okay. So that's the biggest area that we're going to be helping accountants with is the marketing, and we're basically going to be helping you with the sales process. Those are the two biggest weaknesses in every single accounting firm. So we're also going to be adding in a sales course and a marketing course. Because from LYD 25, I asked everyone in the room who's got a sales process. No one could answer that. So we're going to be creating sales processes, how to add more value in client meetings, exactly what Mick said, how to price according to the rest of the market. So if you want new business, let's give an example of this. Let's go on to company setups, Grant. Let's just go back to our basic documents, which we call the Fab Five: company setups, trust setups, super, loan agreements, distributions. Uh, there's two clear lead generators. So, who wants new clients? I'd be utilizing these two for lead generators. Instead of a company setup, is the entrepreneur kit. Me and Mick have said it so many times. You could market it that way to get new clients in. So now you're marketing to more generation X and Y type of entrepreneurs. Number two, SMSFs are a great strategy right now because a lot of people want to invest in crypto or property. So utilizing those two solutions with your monthly fee. Remember, if you're on a strategist, you can do unlimited of these a month. It's mind-boggling to me the volume that firms should be doing. We've got some firms doing 50 to 100 companies a month, and then some doing 2 or 3. There's a big difference because some people are asking for business, or two, other people are waiting for clients to walk in the door. Now we've got AI that can do a lot of the work for you. Mick, what was the one that we saw yesterday from Simon Beard on Meta ads? You can actually, you can
yeah.
talk.
So
Yeah,
so
you go.
you can effectively voice to voice AI and voice. I've been talking to Grant Ben about this voice to voice AI,
Yeah.
which we're working on in some of our documents, is going to be unbelievable by Q1 FY2 2026. Because right now, voice to voice AI gets converted to text, goes to satellite, comes back to the AI agent, text to voice conversion. It will be voice to voice without any of the conversion, without the satellites by Q1 2026. But what Simon was talking about is that you can use in your Meta ads platform. You can go in there and actually talk to it and ask it and say, I want to deliver, and we'll talk about this in the Pinnacle sessions. And I will potentially have someone from his team as one of those guest speakers. Don't want to give away too many secrets, but you can actually talk to Meta and say, hey, I want to target an ad to all the Ben Gills across the world to sell accounting services to.
Yeah.
And I want to spend $600 a month and I want to run it for 6 months. And it'll do all the algorithm for you in the background and go bang and send out
So
the targeted
that's
ads
just
on a
Meta
daily
AI,
basis.
is it?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So just to shorten that a little bit, pick up the phone, talk to Facebook. I want 100 new companies from Queensland to be set up. Can you target people looking to set up a new business? And then it will give you a spend or a time frame to reach that. It's going to be a game changer in the marketing space. But as again, it's the first in, best dress for that one. But
So
no
sorry,
brainer.
Mick, how does it work exactly? So sorry to butt in here, but this is pretty
Yeah. So,
important
so,
for
so
all of us.
you talk to in relation to what your target
Sorry,
market
this
is.
is what you get when you join the
Yep.
Pinnacle package. You don't get this anywhere else.
So you just talk to and tell them what your target market is,
Yeah.
which might be loans. I want to sell loaned products. I want to do refinance products out to. We've got obviously got a special offer at the moment in relation to where you get $1,000 off your accounting fees for loan refinances. So I could say. I want to target people who are looking to refinance their loan across Australia or across Queensland. I want to talk to them about the offer that I've got and how much should I spend to get maximise traction in relation to the market. And it'll go, you need to spend $100 or $500 a day. It will put
Okay.
all everything in place. So it'll for the ad and you can obviously upload pictures or it'll create the pictures. And then it'll start. You put your bank account details, or they will already be in your Meta account, and it will start the ad out there. It's spectacular. There's some really cool stuff that I'll bring to the table from his team. Things like which people may or may not realize is TikTok. TikTok has a great voice algorithm from AI in that if you do a TikTok and say, hey, which I did when I was over in our Bunbury office. Hey, I'm in Bunbury right now. At outside of our office. Any small business in Bunbury that would love to come and have a free coffee with me today or tomorrow, I'm around, and it will just hit the Bunbury market and
Wow.
hit small businesses in that area. TikTok's got
It's
that.
not very expensive either, I think, TikTok.
No,
No.
no, well, that we can do that organically, but obviously you've got to have the reach. But there's some pretty cool marketing
Hmm.
um, strategies you can put into place.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
couple
and
of
this is
things.
what we're
Just
gonna. Yeah,
yeah,
just
sorry.
quickly on that is you've got to look at your future clients. This is what they're utilizing to grow their business. And most accountants aren't utilizing the things that are free, that are LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. They're just not utilizing that and getting their team to actually promote the business as well to get team buy-in. Everyone should be utilizing that or have a team champion in your office running that.
Yeah, just on that, there's a couple of stories again, hot off the press, and we do that. One of the Apple executives just came out and said that, in fact, the Google dropped down by 9% share price last night because they said basically AI is taking over search. So traditional search. So you can see here, I've gone into ChatGPT. You can do this as well. Anyone can do this free account. Who has the best SMSF deed in Australia? So remember the old Google, you get this sponsored, you get a whole lot of crap. This one, it actually goes through, does the analysis. I love this one here. Innovation. Does the deed support advanced strategies like SMSF corporate authoring or visor controller, sub-pepper structures? And when it comes up, who's number one? LightYear Docs. Again, this is thing. Then it goes DBA, Townsend's, and ClearDocs. So, and now Infinity. So when you have a look there, and look at this, all the things, you can't beat that one. And that's just, it's not me putting stuff in. That's actually just straight out of the search of ChatGPT. The other one is Price Waterhouse is now reducing their headcount by 10% across worldwide because of AI coming to take out. They're basically not bringing on any new trainees anymore. So you're starting to see that headcount is being reduced quite significantly in terms of AI. So it's important for us to get on top of it. You might have seen before when I had a look at, oops, so we had a look here. We were the first person in the world to set up a crypto discretionary trust. That's
So,
pretty.
so Grant, let's go there. Why would I utilize a crypto discretionary trust over another one?
Again, this came through, and this is one of the key things is that the three people you see on your screen are the ones who actually do stuff, come up with strategies, come up with ideas. Go to any of our competitors, like for example, Now Infinity. Who's the person who comes up with all the strategies at Now Infinity? Exactly. Crickets. No one.
Oh,
So, do you know what I mean? So this came about because someone said, "Oh, look, one of my clients has bought a lot of crypto. They're up for a hell of a lot of tax liabilities there, but everything's in their name, although the money came out of their discretionary trust account." And the reason that was the coin exchange they had at that time didn't recognize a trust account. And so they had to go down and effectively they were operating as a bare trust. So we could have either solved that. In fact, we did for that particular instance was solving it by do a deed of ratification that they were the bare trustee on behalf of the discretionary trust. So what we did is instead of doing that, we actually flipped it straight into the crypto discretionary trust so that as long as you've got a bank account that's sitting in there, if you're an individual and you're going and buying crypto or selling crypto as an individual, you're actually doing it as the nominee for the crypto discretionary trust. So
Well,
that's important.
Grant, and number two, I called you and I go, listen, everyone's setting it up. How can we take advantage of this with SEO?
Yeah.
So imagine accountants, you've got your list of services on your website and it links to that word crypto. So anyone that types in crypto in Google, now you'll come up in SEO. So that's why you want to start utilizing what your clients are searching. So if they're searching entrepreneur, then that links to that document.
Yeah, the
So that's
biggest
why it's really important to link
Yeah,
it to
the
the
hottest one
site.
at the moment I've seen in SMSF is that the younger generation are getting out of the retail industry funds, which is fantastic, and they're moving into self-managed superannuation funds. Particularly now that ASIC is used to have a guidance that you needed $500,000 to effectively do an SMSF. That's now been withdrawn because the fees on SMSF have gone down quite significantly, while as the fees on retail and industry have gone up quite significantly. So now we're seeing a lot of people doing crypto. If you're doing crypto, you need to have an investment strategy. So two we've got here. Both of them cover crypto. They also cover gold as well, which is another one that's fairly a big mover. This is if you're running a pooled investment strategy. However, if you're in mum and dad's fund, if you're using a true family super fund, or if we had a look there before the leading member SMSF, then we've got member directed investment strategies, which means we might have a younger member who's just doing crypto in their own account. And it's not a pooled investment because obviously the parents don't want to be in the crypto.
I'm
Another one
actually
that's,
Grant. I'm
yep.
actually sitting on the first session of the SMSF Innovation Council next week in Sydney, and it's been brought together by a crypto platform,
Oh, fantastic.
and I've been talking about investment strategy, so they're going to be utilising that amongst other things, but it's going to be some of the SMSF brains in the country and myself. I know, and
There you go. What a guru.
me from an innovation technology perspective, but
But it's good. Like
and
in 2008, because I wrote a new deed at that stage, and that was with SMSF Strategies. I wrote the deed. That was post 2007. There was those really big changes that happened in 2007, which was tax-free super and all that. And at that point in time, actually embedded in the deed, if you went and had a look at them at that time, crypto, digital currencies, NFTs, digital artwork, digital assets. So it was the first in the marketplace. So again, we make sure it's there. And as you said, I mean, do you want to just tell that story? I thought was quite good about the reels and people talking. Someone picked up that
yeah.
they saw you because you're an AI guru.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, and this is another thing in relation to marketing stuff, which we'll cover off in the Pinnacle packages. But the using the right tools within each social media is so important. Like I do a lot of posts on my personal one in relation to LightYear and legal and accounting and everything. But I'm using Reels more and more, and I've had. I haven't had many people off the street comment in relation to just my post, but we did a reel where Grant interviewed me recently on AI and what's coming. And I went to a hockey training session. There was three or four people. One person started the conversation saying they'd listened to the reel and loved the content. And then we started the conversation. Then two or three other people came over and started talking in relation to what we talked about, and me being industry expert in relation to AI. So.
Absolutely. And how true is that? So it's not an expert, you're the AI god. So when we go through, it'd be really good. We're running out of time, but I'd really like to maybe spend another time, Ben, if we could do that, maybe just an hour, and I can show you around all the platform because it's grown a lot since we started 7 years ago. These are our strategist only ones, so these are the really good ones. A Div 7A solution. So that's and you won't see this anywhere else. So what that allows you to do is you've got Div 7A, but many of you do the position where you pay out dividends and then the dividends go to release that. You can't do that bookkeeping because that a dividend actually, if you have a look at it from a tax perspective, has to be paid. Doing a bookkeeping entries and payments. So what we use is promissory notes, and promissory notes go out and then they come back in. So it's a very sophisticated solution, and also you can have a schedule. The enforcer, essentially, there is that when someone starts off a company or business. And in fact, if you have a look at most of your clients, you'll be charging them to set up a trust. You'll be charging them to set up a company. So they've actually put in the establishment fees, but they pay to themselves. And I know, Mick, you do this, don't you? You actually put in place a charge and a loan in relation to that. And that's what the
We do.
enforcer is.
Yep.
Deed ratification of verbal trust distribution minutes. SMSF will. So B2B ends, you shouldn't be using those ever. There's enough. I can give you 20 or 30 cases which have been litigated. SMSF will has never been litigated because it's so strong. But one of the important things there is, and this comes from a family wealth protection perspective, you don't want to be giving your spouse or your children effectively money, and you never put it to the estate. You want to make sure that it's protected right from the start. So you can put in an SMSF will that this money is to go to my spouse, and then we do a death benefits protection trust, which is like a family protection trust, which is created out of there. We've got the business protector. Again, what we're doing is switching assets over to a separate IP or asset protection company away from an operating company. Successor director solutions. So when you come up with a client, I think if you've got like six or seven companies that you're the sole director of, you don't want to go and use our successor director for each solution. What you'll do is you can use this one. You can do about nine. It'll only take you about 30 minutes, and you'll charge $950 for each one for the client. And it comes up with the minutes. It comes up with a brand new constitution, which allows you to do the successor director, because you can't do it otherwise. Plus, it comes up a deed of indemnity. But with our deed of indemnities, our successor director goes, well, who's first? And if they're not around, who's second and third? And it produces a deed of indemnity for each one. So that's why you can extract great value from your clients. The protector is one of my favorites. Again, that's a gift loan back strategy, particularly if clients are coming in worried about DPNs and stuff like that. We want to set up a family protection trust, which is also embedded in the protector. So this is a multi-document strategy. In fact, all of these are multi-document strategies. There's around about seven there. We can work out a gift, and there's a promissory note for the gift over, so we can extract value out of our property, cars, etc. But we don't transfer the assets over. One is there's stamp duty, and then particularly if it's property, there's land tax issues. So we transfer the wealth over by way of a promissory note. Unfortunately, promissory notes, they're great, but they're short-term instruments. So we want to convert it to a long-term, so extinguish the promissory note in consideration for a long-term loan. That then enables Venom Optimum, which is another group associated with Michael, to put down a registration or a second registration of a mortgage over any property, and also do a PPSR. Moat and Castle, one day I'll get round and actually show you guys to do that. That's 30 documents in one interview, which is unbelievable. Related party LRBAs for property. So that's, for example, if we've got bucket companies with cash and we've got an SMSF, why go to an external lender? We can actually borrow from that company itself, and we can actually do that with shares as well. Leading member kit. So if we've got an existing discretionary trust with corporate trustee, we can use this and upgrade to a family protection style trust. I think you're better off doing that through LY Legal or LBO, just to make sure that you don't stuff up and end up with a resettlement. And then corporate SMSFD, upgrade to a LYD, that takes about 5 seconds. So again, just get rid of the old rubbish that you've got and start with a new one. Now, I could go through like hundreds of documents, but I think spending time now is we're almost up against hard yards. So I'll probably come down and do another session on that as well. I definitely need to do a market castle and show you guys what that is.
Yeah. And just a couple of things on there is if you just want to email ben@lyd.com.au, I can send you the Road to Success tool and a one-page document that lists the documents that you might want to add to your website for a list of services. Also, what we're going to be doing, so make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook. I'm getting Grant and Jay to do 1-minute videos on all documents to explain the benefits in 1 minute and what type of client that it can be used for. And you can reshare that. So making sure when you're going onto our platform, it's onto our socials, you reshare that to your client base. So you're not giving legal advice. So that's what we're growing our socials for all of our firms. Let us do all the work for you. We don't care. Rebrand it, do whatever you need to. How many ebooks have you got now, Grant? You've got tons of ebooks.
Heaps, yeah. I don't know. Actually, I'm writing a new SMSF book. So, but while you're there, like this is, you just saw in the resources section that no one uses. I mean, this is the sort of stuff that a lot of people charge a couple of $1,000s a month for. But here's a letter wider discretionary trust upgrade. Instead of you guys doing it, it's basically all there sitting out for your clients, and basically you're off and running. Although we have to change, obviously, having a Morley lawyers there. But that resources section has got a lot of stuff there in for you, as well as videos as well.
Yeah. So we're only got a couple of minutes left, guys, but just a reminder for the end of financial years for LYD 26, just shoot me an email to ben@lyd.com.au. And the first 5 that jump in for the Pinnacle, it should be a no-brainer at that price. Also, if you want to refer us any clients to jump on the strategist, there's no commitment for the 30 days. Just shoot it to my email, get yourself a free LYD 26 ticket. But to close it off, any final words from you, Mick?
No, there's a lot of exciting things happening and bringing to the table. Obviously, we're going to be pumping a lot of content out. So just make sure you're soaking it all in, taking it all in, and the best place to be is in relation to those Pinnacle packages because you'll get the maximum impact and value out of all the strategies that LightYear brings to the table.
Yeah, definitely. And the money you're saving and making on the Pinnacle package, use that and get yourself a tax deductible holiday over in Fiji, and which is then going to take you to the next level. So that's what smart people do, and that's why you're here with us three and continue. Imagine what it's going to be like a year with us.
Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for your support. We look forward to seeing you at LYD 26. But make sure if you need to go to the site, you can book in a discovery session as well. If you need to go into more of a deep dive on the things that you are missing out on the platform. But this is the LightYear Docs directors signing off. Thank you all for taking the time out today.